We now have a full CRUD example put together with React and Redux. So we can see a list of records. We can create a new record. We can edit that record. And then we can go ahead and delete it if we want to. And of course, we can show an individual record as well. These are the basic operations that are included for the vast majority of web apps out there. Just about every app, as we discussed much earlier on, has these very basic operations around reading, showing, listing, all that kind of good stuff, different records. So at this point, this application, for the most part, is complete. And I would encourage you to do a git commit if you're making use of Git, or even just copy the project directory and just have all the code we've put together as a backup so that you can reference it in the future. Because what you see right here is a pretty good base for creating any application you might want to work on. So at this point, moving forward, we're going to start continuing on the streaming aspect of this application. Now remember, the streaming part is 100% optional, and a lot of what we're going to do here is not really related to React and Redux at all. I just want to complete the application that I told you we were going to build, but going through the streaming stuff is not at all a requirement for understanding how React and Redux works. To that end, if you have any trouble going through the streaming stuff and getting it to work, I'm probably not going to offer you a lot of support for troubleshooting issues, because again, this is just not really relevant for the course. I just want to make sure that we can complete the example nonetheless. Okay, so we're going to start working on the streaming aspect of this application now. So let me tell you about exactly what we need to do. Okay, so we looked at this diagram previously. Remember, we had said that we were going to develop that API that had a list of streams, and we've already gone through that process. And our web application running inside of a browser has the ability to list out those different streams, create new ones, and do all that good stuff. So now the next thing we're going to do is set up this RTMP server, which is going to be responsible for receiving different video streams and broadcasting them out to different users' browsers. Now remember, I had told you setting up this RTMP server was going to be really easy and straightforward, and that's not a lie at all. It really will be very simple to put together. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to flip on over to my terminal where I'm inside of my client directory right here. So remember, the client folder is where we have put together all the React and Redux parts of our application. So I'm going to go up one level, and out here I've got the API project and the client project as well. So inside of this folder, inside of the streams overall general project folder, I'm going to make a new folder called RTMP server, like so. And then I'm going to change into that directory. And inside of there, I'm going to generate a new package.json file with npm init. Once I run npm init, I'll be prompted for a couple of different inputs, and I'm just going to hit enter to go through each of them. And I eventually get kicked back out to my terminal. Okay, so now that we've generated a package.json file, let me tell you about how we're going to put that server together. All right, so I've got some documentation on here on the screen, or a link to some documentation for the RTMP server that we're going to make use of. So I'm going to open up a new browser tab and navigate to that link. All right, so this is a Node.js implementation of a RTMP server. And this is how we are going to eventually stream video from a program like, say, OBS, remember that's Open Broadcaster, over to the RTMP server. Making use of the Node Media Server package is really easy and straightforward. As a matter of fact, we're just going to take the default example that you can see if you scroll down a little bit and find the usage section. So underneath the usage section, you'll see NPM version right here, and it says single core mode. So there's a single core mode and a multi-core cluster mode. We're going to use single core because we do not really expect to have a lot of traffic on this RTMP server that we are putting together. So essentially, all we have to do is install this package, Node Media Server, and then you and I are going to run exactly the code you see right here. We're not going to make any changes to it. We're just going to use the base default configuration. All right, so I'm going to flip back over to my RTMP server directory. And over here, I'm going to run npm install --save node-media-server, like so. And then while that runs, I'm going to also open up my code editor inside of that RTMP server directory. So I've got a new code editor open here inside of RTMP server. There's the package.json file that we just created, and there's the node modules directory where our packages are currently being installed. So inside of here, I'm going to create a new file called index.js. I'm going to go back over to the GitHub repository, copy this example code right here, and then paste it inside of the index.js file. I'm then going to save this file, and then to start up our project, I'm going to open up the package.json file, and I will add in a new script inside of here and replace the existing test script to start up our project. So I'm going to delete test, and I'm going to add in a new script called start. Anytime we run that script, we're going to run node index.js, like so. Okay, and that's pretty much it. So now if I flip back over to my terminal, I should see my package is finished installing, the Node Media Server package. So inside of RTMP server, I'm going to run npm start. And that's going to start up our streaming server. So I should see a message like this, Node Media Server, whatever version you are running. And then we'll see some other output in here over time. So now our server for streaming is running on port 8000. Okay, so this looks pretty good. So let's take a quick pause right here. When we come back to the next section, we're going to start to configure our OBS software to, or whatever streaming software you're using to stream to this server. So quick pause, and I'll see you in just a minute.